Welcome to the Triple P podcast, Preds, Pucks, Pinoys, hosted by Justin Bradford and Matt Best.
Hello and welcome to an episode of Triple P, Preds, Pucks, and Pinoys. It's been a while. I didn't want to mess it up and say the wrong
What words
order.
are you going to choose there? No, I'm just concerned for you.
Penis.
No. Penis, and penis.
Yeah,
great
penis,
start.
penis.
Not even 20 seconds in, said penis like 9 times now. We're back.
Man, we're saying penis a lot. There it is again. All right, folks. Well, y'all saw what happened early in the evening on Monday. The Nashville Predators sent out an email to the local media, and there's going to be what they call a major press conference at Bridgestone Arena. This will happen Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Central, so Tuesday morning, July 13th, meaning some of you are probably listening to this after the fact that it is happening, but not too often the Predators send out something that says a major press conference. They'll just say a press conference and who's involved. There's no mention of who's involved in this, but also the big thing is that it is the first in-person press conference in over a year and a half, so since March of 2020, the first in-person thing. And it's also going to be streamed live at NashvillePredators.com, on Bally Sports South, so on TV, Bally Sports app, and 102.5 The Game. When it's going to be streamed on radio, okay, that's one thing, because radio will do that often for like a call, a press conference, stuff like that. But for it to be on TV, it's a pretty big deal. They're interrupting their typical programming, which is probably doing a Braves game more than anything else on Bally Sports right now. They're doing baseball. That's about the only thing going on in terms of regional sports during this awkward time of the summer for about a couple months until get into football and basketball season again and hockey season again. But all signs pointing to Pekka Rinne announcing his retirement. So we're thinking, Adam Vingman of Athletic put a little bit more information in that in his tweet and announcing the press conference, and that it involves Pekka Rinne. Maybe it involves more to that about maybe he's joining the organization or whatnot. Also, light refreshments will be provided. So this is meant to be like a positive press conference because they're going to have light refreshments.
Oh, he's retiring.
So I think there needs to be a cake. Just if you're going to have light refreshments, there better be like
does light refreshments mean like champagne, or does that mean like have a Diet Coke?
Like punch and pie.
No. Okay. Yeah.
No, I would say light refreshments would be like snacky foods, like here's snack mix and like
a muffin,
something like that.
Yeah,
your typical continental breakfast type of thing. Light refreshments. So I assume it's something like water and soda and maybe like a picky snack food or something like that.
And probably because there's going to be a barrage of questions after Pekka goes, "It's been a good ride."
Yeah, it's been a good ride. And they're having it in one of the big meeting rooms. Those of you that are familiar with the arena, a lot of times when they have season ticket holder renewals, or if you've been to private events there's these big meeting rooms that are by the Fan Information Center. So when you walk in where the escalators are and you walk into the right, there's big meeting rooms there. A lot of times they'll hold different seminars in there as well. If you've been there, they'll have private dinners that are before a game, or that's we'll have some season ticket holder renewals. We'll have a bunch of stuff to give out. So it's happening there and not in typical like the little press conference areas that the Predators have used before. It's not happening in the media room. It is happening in a place where you can fit over 100 people.
Yeah, it's
a big organizational announcement that leads to a couple things.
There's nothing else it could be, right?
The only other thing, and I do not believe this is happening because of all the signs that are pointing. The only other thing that could happen would be David Poile saying that he's announcing his successor and that this is his last year.
Oh, dear God. How amazing. That would be nice.
But it'd be a troll job because all signs are leading towards Pekka right now.
It had
leading up to this, Matt, it was David Poile saying before the fourth, saying that they're going to talk one more time after the fourth to see how he's feeling. This times well that they met last week to talk about how he's feeling, and then coming into this gives us an idea. But here's the thing. I want to get your point of view, especially because of where you're at, what you hear, your job and everything. Here in Nashville, we know what Twitter and Facebook and everything's been saying about this. What in terms of the hockey world, because it's not too often an NHL team will release something like major press conference alert. They'll just release the news, or they'll say something's going to a press conference, but not this where it's major. So what has been the feedback and the feel that you're getting from the rest of the hockey world?
I've had about 4 or 5 texts saying, so Pekka's retiring, right?
Right.
And that's from people who don't listen to the show, which they should be doing. But yeah, it's from people that are from the outside looking in who know I have a connection to the Predators, to Nashville, and they're like, so is that what's happening? I'm like, I don't know, but probably. Like, that's my best guess. Because let's run through the other scenarios and what it could be. It wouldn't be a jersey reveal, because I feel like that's something you kind of just announce and you could do over Zoom. You don't need that big conference room.
No, and they'll hype it up and lead to it with teases and everything.
Right.
Because Adidas is going to make them.
Yes, and that's like oh, this is what they were teasing. Let's go order this now and spend a bunch of money. Like that's that side of things. Another thing that I saw floated out there is that it could be an announcement for like a special type of game. Again, I don't think that warrants the big conference room. I don't think you call that a major announcement. I feel like the phrasing of major announcement is what's so vital here, because it's someone who has been a part of the team for so long, so iconic, so legendary, that, yeah, it's going to be a major announcement tomorrow or today, whenever you're hearing this, when Pekka says, thanks, that's it, that's all. If I was a gambling man, yet again, I did bet on Shohei Ohtani to win the home run derby, but Polar Bear Pete Alonso did win. Should have bet on Pete Alonso. I'm so stupid. You don't put the defending champion as number 5 seed. Right. Going off on baseball tangent. Anyways, like, I would say 99 times out of 100, if I were to bet, I would bet on it being Pekka retiring. That's how confident I am that this is what it is. Because honestly, I don't think Poyle would call it a major announcement, or the Preds would call it a major announcement if he was stepping down. I don't think that it's that, like, it would be major, but you wouldn't phrase it that way.
Well, and I don't think they would put light refreshments will be served. They just have it there.
Like, whenever a GM move like that does happen, if you look around the league, it's not like, hey, we have a bunch of seats available. It's sometimes just like a small office and there's a few questions, or it's their small media room and it's a few questions and that's it. Or in this day and age, it's a Zoom meeting and that's it. But they're going to celebrate Pekka Rinne in front of people. I don't think this announcement happens unless A, Pekka obviously goes, yeah, I'm done, and B, if you can't have this group of people in front of him. Because you're going to want friends, you're going to want family there, you're going to want people in the organization who have been close to him, goalie coaches, players that are his friends as well. You're going to want a whole crowd in there. This isn't something that is just 20 people in a room and then everyone watches from TV. This is like a celebration. A retirement for a player like this is a celebration. Certain retirements is just someone tweeting out, yeah, I'm done. Here's my press release. Thanks. See ya. It's been good. But the fact of the matter is, this is the first iconic player to hang them up at Bridgestone. And this will be the first iconic player to have his jersey go up in the rafters, which I don't see happening until the year after, by the way. Not this year coming, but the year after. Just because I think you need a year to sit. You need a year to sit, and you want 100% full capacity, go with no danger of this game was scheduled 4 months from now to hang up his jersey and retire him. You don't know what this pandemic's going to bring, kind of thing. I think you need that other year of just clarity. But yeah, it's Pekka. That's what this is. I'd love to be right on this for once on this show.
Well, it's got to be. There's not much else that it could be, and you're saying all the right things. Why you don't have the whole organization there for something unless it's huge like that, especially all the staff and everything, and have room, like you said, for players and things like that. We know plenty of them are in town. I mean, Pekka Rinne was at the Elite Edge Hockey Showcase yesterday, hanging with the kids. Elite Edge Hockey is run by Brandon Walker, who is with Hockey Ops at the Nashville Predators, and it is awesome because this is where you have high-end talent from around the Southeast, and the world even comes in to be scouted and coached by college D1 coaches, by junior coaches from the NA, the US, all throughout junior hockey, and multiple different junior hockey leagues, including some of the Canadian junior leagues too. And they don't just get on ice, but they get off ice. And then what's great when you have a guy like Brandon Walker running this, he has the connections to the Preds players. And so yesterday, Pekka Rinne was just in the lobby hanging out and taking pictures with all these players. I mean, that's pretty cool. You're just from 13 to 18 years old, you're there to play hockey, and all of a sudden, Pekka Rinne is just there taking pictures and saying hello and greeting you. And then today, Rocco Grimaldi was there. Saw him walking in, held the door, and you could tell I know we're getting a little off topic, but just had to share. this is how you can tell it's been a long time since I've seen these players in person. Like it has been, when you think about it, yes, the season went on, but during these Zoom calls, it was a one-sided video.
Yeah.
We could see them on camera for post-game interviews. All they saw maybe was a picture of us talking. There was not any back and forth video conversations happening with these players. This is the first time I'd seen them. And Rocco did a double take. I opened the door because I was heading out and he was heading in. And he just like keeps walking and then looks at me and goes, "Oh, hey man, how's it going?"
Nice.
Like that click of, I really do recognize you. I do know who you are. It's been forever since I've seen you in person.
Yeah.
18 months since I've seen you in person.
It's just like when you eventually go out for beers with that high school friend or college friend that you're like, oh, we should go catch up and have some beers. And then years later, you finally see them and you're like, this counts. This is good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a little weird, but it was really cool just to see people reacting to Pekka. And I mean, to think some of those kids, that might be the last opportunity they have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I honestly think, I mean, we'll talk about this too in a different episode, the impact Pekka had, what we think he'll do kind of thing. But the short version of that episode will honestly be me saying he's going to have a role within either the organization or within Finnish hockey or within hockey in Tennessee. Like, he'll have a role in hockey. He's just that kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy that's going to be like, it was good, see you later. He'll stick around.
I mean, that's probably the best case scenario in a retirement announcement, is that he announces retirement and then says, but we've created this role for him to help with the development of goaltenders in the organization or something like that. I don't
see it happening for the next 4 or 5 years. He just had a kid.
I know.
I think he'll just want to have, like, I am an old ass goalie.
Well,
I am now a middle-aged man and not old anymore.
That's why I said best case scenario.
Yeah, 100%. That'd be, for fans, 100%.
That means he'd still be around, things like that. And who knows? I mean, Pekka could... Obviously, he's still very well connected to Finland and back home. That's still home to him. So I definitely could see them moving back to Finland and him wanting to raise his kid there for the time being and spending that time there. And maybe he is a local scout, a goaltending scout based in Finland, where he never has to leave home. Yeah,
and like he'll come back for special appearances and things like that.
Of course. So we'll see. Yeah, it's a lot of speculation, and those people that know me know that I absolutely hate speculation. I just want facts.
Me too.
I just want facts. But I feel like do not like speculation.
This is pretty damn close to facts.
I know. It's damn close to facts and everything. So we'll see what happens with that. Just know that you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow it's going to be everywhere. I mean, the hockey world is going to be focused and is on the Nashville Predators tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central. So it's going to be very curious to see if any teams try to slide something under.
What bad timing. I hit the road tomorrow at noon Eastern.
Oh, so you're just going to have to listen to it.
Like, I have to go do a plethora of errands. Like, I have to go get an oil change, go grocery shopping, go do a bunch of shit before I actually get out. But in between things, I'll just be checking my phone.
You'll be on the road.
Yeah, I'll be like,
on the road for a vacation, because of course. I mean, it's summertime.
Hey, I'm working from my vacation. It's not a true vacation. It's
okay.
It's my once a year go to the cottage with all my best friends kind of thing. And there's a group of, I think there's 9 of us this year, which should be a lot of fun. And they're all kind of pissed off that I have to bring my computer and work from up there. And they're like, we're just going to get you drunk. I was like, I'm just going to get up at 6 a.m. and do my work and then go back to sleep. I was like, there's no getting me hammered to do work. No.
Well, and so just know that I'll have a recap episode, a real quick recap episode and everything for everybody that'll hit Wednesday morning and everything. So we'll have you covered there for what's going on with the announcement and stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it's obviously Pekka, and then what is after that? Like, what comes with the announcement? Is it a presentation of the trophy that he recently won? What is it? Why is it going to be just that? It can't just be just that. Is it going to be that plus retirement?
Could you imagine major press conference? We're showing off Pekka's trophy.
I'm kidding. But okay, since this will be the last time Matt and I will be able to talk before the lists are submitted for the expansion draft, let's do one final take on what we think will happen, and 2, what we would like to see happen with the protection list. Let's not get into any of your trades, because I'll preface this with 2. I don't think we're going to see near as many trades this time.
Let's just do it as if this is what the roster is. No speculating on trades whatsoever. Just this is it. Like, you have the players that are on the team right now, and that's it.
Okay.
All right. I'll go first.
Yep.
Ooh, that was funny. If you click Roman Josi, you wave him. The 4 defensemen. Well, I'm just doing 8 forward defense. Josi, Ellis, Ekholm, Fabro, Forsberg, Cunnin, Johansson, Yarncroke. That's 8. And then Saros.
Saros.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Saros,
that's what I would do.
Okay, that's fair. So out of Saros, Josi, Ellis, Ekholm, Fabro, Forsberg, Cunnin, Yarncroke, Sissons.
That's what you'd do?
Force them to take either one of the $8 million guys, Rocco Grimaldi, let's see, or Rocco Grimaldi, or Nick Cousins, or Yakov Trenin.
I just don't.
You're gonna force them to take.
I just don't think they're gonna take him.
Or Alexander Carrier.
Me picking Johansson here is just more of a respect thing, to be quite honest.
Oh yeah, I get it. But
I'm throwing a bit of shade at Duchesne here by not choosing him, but also if Seattle wants to take him, sure. I just think if you leave Johansson and Duchesne both exposed, they take Ryjo. Every day of the week.
They do, but then it's $8 million that you have flexibility with.
It is, but I just also don't see them being that financially stupid in the draft, right?
I don't either. That's what I'd like to see. So it really does come down to like 2 players.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
I don't pretty set on defense, pretty set for at least Cunnin and Forsberg, and then what happens at the other 2 spots.
Mm-hmm. So what I think with David Poile now, because stuff's been leaked left, right, and center about him openly trying to shop the $8 million men. Like, from credible sources, it's been leaked.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think his list isn't going to be much different than my list or your list.
Oh, I agree, especially when he was going to expose Arvidsson.
Yeah. So to me, it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if your list is the right one. I just, the only reason... I wouldn't be surprised
if yours is either. I mean,
like, it has to pretty well damn be one of our 2.
Minor fluctuations.
And that's not me like touting us as the greatest projectors of a freaking expansion draft. That's just like, it's either David Poile goes the semi-respectful route of protecting Johansson, or he goes, F it, like you said, go ahead, take one of them if you dare.
But even with that then, too, if he exposed one of the $8 million guys and Arvidsson and Seattle, based on what he said, that Seattle would take Arvidsson, then they're like,
I don't know. I mean, like, taking RV is a hell of a lot easier to swallow.
Oh, of course. But it also means, too, that they were looking at something different. They still were not going to take the $8 million guy.
Oh, of course.
If Arvidsson was there. So, therefore, they trade Arvidsson to get something in return. Now, you force it a little bit more to like, there's still less available. So you're saying you're going to take Yakov Trenin over Matt Duchesne or Ryan Johansson? Like, it's playing that mind game with Seattle, too. It's like you really want to chance your one pick from our team on a depth guy like that, because when it comes down to it, that's what they're gonna have available are a couple depth guys and Matt Duchesne, Ryan Johansson, maybe.
Yeah, like I'm looking around. It's Trenin. They could take Nick Cousins. Grimaldi. Honestly,
Carrier could be one too. I mean,
you could burn $2 million a worse way with Rocco Grimaldi. I think that's the best pick out of them all. But it's a lot easier to turn a Rocco Grimaldi into a 7th round, 6th round pick and just wipe your hands with him and be done with it than it is to take on the risk of an $8 million man for until 2025.
I agree. That's what the Predators trying to force hand. That's what they're trying to do. You can tell
it's basically David Poile going, you got 2 shit options here at $8 million, or you can get a kind of not impactful player for $2 million. Take your pick.
True expansion draft player.
Yeah, that's a good handcuff there. And then the only problem with that is if there's no trades done beforehand, Seattle's going to be like, well, I don't want to deal with you. Look what you made me do.
Well, you don't have to. Then at least you have your roster set.
You do. But this whole offseason will become a massive failure if one of those $8 million men aren't moved.
I know we've said that. We've
countless
said
times.
That.
And this is opportunity numero uno right now.
And it's I think the Predators this time have a better hand because they took care of one of the situation players in a trade. So they have a better hand now leading into this because I think too, like I was saying before, we're not going to see near as many trades, or we're going to see more strategic trades more than anything else in this expansion draft because teams have learned what happened, and Seattle's obviously learned a lot too. So I think it's only teams that are really cap strapped, like maybe they're dumping a player, similar to what Pittsburgh had to do with Fleury. I mean, they're in a situation where they were wanting to move on, and Fleury was cool with it. You might have some of those veteran guys that are willing to do that as well. I could totally see that happening too. Or you see a team leaving a certain guy unprotected that you never would have thought be unprotected because it ends up they had a conversation like, no, he's ready to move on, kind of thing. So I'm curious to see what happens there in the few days after that list is set and everything. And that's happening on the 18th is when those lists are due. So we'll see what happens. But I would like them to go that route to really force Seattle's hand of either you take one of these $8 million guys or you're getting a true depth player. And granted, Carrier, I wouldn't necessarily call him a true depth player. He's a good middle defenseman. So that might be a smarter pick for them, too, if they're looking for a guy that's young that potentially could be a good second pairing guy for them for at least 2 seasons while they're continuing to develop and sign free agents, things like that over the course of time.
According to Cap Friendly,
he's eligible. No, he has to be eligible given the number of players the Predators have to expose.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It says
given that he was close.
So this website is lying to us.
No, it's right based on the data. It's just that given the number of roster players and contracts,
analytic.
It's based on the API. So it's one of those things that the Predators only have so many players under contract to be able to expose, and so Carrier has to be exposed even though he only has 2 games remaining.
Right. Okay, makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that.
It's because he was, and I believe it's because he was based on age and him being the closest.
That makes sense.
Well, so
nice. I do have a question. Okay. So, friend of the show, Chris Arnold, asked me this question. I'd love to hear your explanation of it. How is it considered not tampering when the Kraken is talking about players, hypothetically, like Matt Duchene, who are still under contract in terms of acquiring them? I gave him like a long answer, gave him a couple like paragraphs to read. How would you explain this in very layman's terms?
You really think teams follow the rules?
I mean, it's also
I wouldn't call it tampering because it's not necessarily tampering. It's just feeling out the waters more than anything else. General managers talk all the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's talking all the time, and there's sometimes too where general manager will give permission to a player to talk to a team.
Yes.
Or anything else too. So you have private permission. It's only tampering if it's unknown.
And it's also tampering if you flat out go out to the public and say, we want to acquire blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
which is what the Leafs did way back when the Sedins were in Vancouver. And then that's when the league was like, what the hell are you doing? Here's a tampering fine. But that's like the fine line. You're allowed to hypothetically be like, okay, we want to select this team or this player from you, but what if you trade us this player? How could we grease the wheels that way? Like, you're allowed to do all that kind of stuff. You just can't be blatant and be like, we have an under the table deal to do this, and we're saying that out loud. Like, the trade will never read on paper, Predators trade Matt Duchene to Seattle Kraken plus 3rd round pick for Kraken to take Duchene kind of thing. Like, there's no that'll never be
it's never like that. You just have to you have an understanding of, oh, so that's what happened.
Yeah. And like, I mean, at the end of the day, the Kraken could, by the rule book, tell Nashville that they will take Matt Duchene and then not do it. That'll never, ever, ever happen because that'll just create a huge Schmidt storm. So that, like, you'll never see general managers do that to each other.
So for instance, too, let's just look at the trade that the Blackhawks and the Oilers
What
made.
a bad trade.
So Duncan Keith
So bad.
I mean, Caleb Jones return and conditional pick and everything too. But I mean, if anything, what's curious though, y'all remember Chicago's situation in the last expansion draft?
Oh
You
man.
remember how their protection list was predetermined the entire way because of all the no movement clauses on there? Well, this time Chicago only has two of those
Yeah.
from all 8 spots or 9 spots being covered to only two. So it gives them some flexibility because had they kept Keith, it would have been one.
There's also
So
only
this is
there's only 2 people left from that cup.
right. Yeah. So that right there too was probably a move in preparation for the expansion draft. Multiple other things too for Chicago, but that gives them a lot more flexibility to get rid of that clause that Duncan Keith carried on him, and so that it was just very curious.
So here's what I read from a lot of credible sources. Here's how this went down. When the talks started happening, Edmonton was like, all right, listen, we'll give you Caleb Jones. We'll also give you Koskinen, though, and we'll give you a 4th-round pick. Or you'll give us a 4th-round pick. And Chicago was like, I don't want Koskinen. Thanks. Talks are over. And it just went quiet. And then weeks later, Edmonton called him back up and said, all right, we'll give you Jones. Instead of that 4th-round pick coming our way, give us a 3rd. And Chicago went, okay, thanks. Here you go. Like, this is such a bad trade. I know it's only 5.5 mil over 2 years, but you now have $9.1 million, I believe it is, tied up in Duncan Keith and Zach Kassian.
Gonna win a cup, man.
That's not a good look. Connor McDavid must be at home right now going, what the is going on? I know, like, everyone was saying that Duncan Keith still has game left in him, according to people who have seen him. He's 37 years old.
There's only so much
There's
game
only
left.
so much game you have left. Yeah, like, if you have game for a 37-year-old, that's cool. You're still 37 years old. And I'm sorry.
I'm 37 years old.
Could you imagine playing in the NHL right now? Like, even if you were in tip-top shape at 37.
Depends on how much I'm getting paid. I could definitely imagine it.
$5.538462 million.
Sign me up and give me my oatmeal.
Yeah, just let me block a bunch of shots, but that was a bad trade. It was not good. It was awful.
Yeah, it was bad. But that's what I'm going to be curious to see too. Is not necessarily teams that are trading with Seattle, teams that are trading with each other to prep their rosters better. So I would be prepared for the next 5 days. There's going to be some teams that are going to be tinkering with each other's lineups to prepare them for the expansion draft because they're like, well, we can part with this guy, but we want something in return at least, just like the Predators.
Yeah.
We want something in return for somebody they might have lost. So there's plenty of question marks. It's crazy season now with the cup being over. It's crazy season because trades are up. There's going to be talks about, who can sign deals right after the expansion draft is done. If we're going to see a plethora of just deals come in and fly right through there too, all these free agents. And then it goes right into the regular draft, which is going to be a cluster of interesting shit because the way scouting had to go this season and no one really knowing where some of these guys stand. So teams could end up getting a damn good steal in the second round because people just don't know what to think of a player because a lot of them didn't play, or they played very limited time in this past season too. So this is one of those grab bags of, hey, just reach in the bag, see what you got.
To
Maybe
equate
it's
it,
gonna be good.
it's the same thing as what happened with baseball. It's like a lot of these kids didn't play AAA, didn't play AA, didn't play single A, didn't play rookie ball, and they're now getting to this season. A lot of teams are like, oh, you got better, or it's like, oh, you got so much worse.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, so I completely agree with that. I think that's a good analogy, just of it being a grab bag. This is still a shitty draft. Owen Power goes 1, and then have fun.
Yeah. So very curious to see what happens. That we'll have more on that, but silly season is upon us. So hey, get those questions in. I know we've addressed a lot of topics without actually addressing who asked questions, but there's still things that we haven't answered that you want us to next week. Then be sure to get that in. Again, a reminder that I'll have the recap for you tomorrow. Yeah, so when you listen to this tomorrow, I'll have a recap for you on the potential rename announcement or whatever this press conference was. I'll have a recap for you, a very quick one. And then how about in the next week's episode, Matt, we discuss the Loki season finale
Oh
as
yeah,
well as other
man.
things to give people a few days to let it sink in.
So good.
And then, well, wait, movie theaters aren't open there yet, are they?
Shut up.
No, I'm being serious because I mean, it's still crazy. Is it just your province or all through Canada?
Our province is going into phase 3 of reopening on Friday, which means you can have 50% eating in restaurants. You know how much it pissed me off watching the home run derby today? People chugging beers, having fun, dudes falling over balusters trying to catch home runs, hugging one another after hitting home. Like,
I mean, I'm going to a press conference in person.
I can't go to the mall. Well, I mean, I can go to the mall. I just, like...
Let's go to the mall today.
This is a prison. It's not good. Like, it's awful. It's not great.
Well, let's just hope you're able to get here for the Stadium Series.
I will be there for the Stadium Series. I'm double vaxxed now, so...
Yeah, I'm glad you got through that.
That was the worst ever. I called in sick for the first time in over a year. It just whooped my ass. I remember getting the shot. It was like 2 o'clock. I got the shot. 3 o'clock came by. I was like, arm's kind of sore. By like 9 o'clock that night, I was like, I don't feel good. Went to bed and woke up, and it felt like you were standing over me the whole night, just wailing on me with like a pillowcase filled with soap and just beating the hell out of me. And then
that's the route you went. Okay.
Yeah, you weren't beating on me. You were beating me up, not off.
I was about to say your lupia cracked.
No, it would have been. It was. That's like
adobo, baby, adobo.
That's one of the roughest sicknesses I've had. It's so bad, and now that's one of the roughest images I've ever had. You're a gentle lover. I believe that.
Your body felt like leche flan.
It did. It was as malleable as Hello Hello.
And that's how we get our Pinoy in.
That's it. Go look up all those things and then imagine. Yeah, you know.
Imagine Matt's kind of tan, half Filipino body.
We're not writing or speaking erotic fan fiction right now. We're just going to stop and wrap this. The episode.
It's hockey fan fiction, but in a really weird way.
Yeah, it's not right.
No, we're speaking. It's definitely not right. Okay, folks.
I mean, if you want to support it, you can always PayPal us, and we'll...
Okie dokie. As always, thanks for tuning in. We'll see if we are correct about our assumptions for the press conference. Make sure you're following Matt at Best of Matt. I'm at Justin B. Bradford and at Triple P Podcast _ and Triple P Podcast on Facebook as well. And hey, we'll talk to you next time. Don't forget, we'll have the recap with me, and maybe I'll find someone to join me. Who knows? I don't know. But I'll have a recap for you on the press conference in our very next episode. And hey, we'll talk Loki season finale and so much more in our next one. As always, thanks for tuning in. This is Justin Bradford from Matt Best. This has been Triple P, the Preds, Pucks, and Pinoys podcast.
Bye.